Welcome to the Pinstripers podcast, a podcast about pinstripers hosted by two pinstripers. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Fleming.
And I am your other host, Freddie Villa. And today, Jack and I will just be discussing goings-ons and what we got plans for and what we've been doing. But before we get started, I'd like to mention if you would like to sponsor an episode, we are asking for a minimum of $50, and that will give you a shout-out to your company, to your social media handles, whatever shout-out you would like for us to give. If your favorite football team just beat somebody and you want us to talk smack, whatever you want, $50 would help us out a lot, keep this show rolling. So, Jack, what's been going on, man?
You got me laughing now thinking about talking smack about football there.
Hey, man, sometimes hate will bring out the cash, you know?
We're paid to hate on people even if we don't hate them.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, man, a lot's been going on, and I feel like we've gotten really out of the habit of recording, so we need to kick ourselves in the butt and do it more often.
Well, this is a start, right? And then we'll...
yes, sir.
We got a long list of folks, and thanks to everybody that's been giving us the long lists. We're just trying to just get started, just me and Jack, real fast to try to recenter and regroup here.
There you go. Get the ball started again.
Yeah.
I guess kind of something that I've been looking forward to us doing this and wanting to ask you about is the classes you guys have been doing. You and Robert Messenger, I think, have y'all done 2 classes since the last time we recorded, or maybe just 1?
Yeah, we've done 2. I think it was since the last time recorded. 2 in 1 year, which I didn't realize that happened. So I didn't realize we did them so soon until, I started kind of like counting down the days and such. But they've been going pretty good. The first time there was a tattoo convention in Tampa here. And how it all started was the person at the tattoo convention that was running it asked me if I would do classes there in Tampa, which is just 20 minutes away from me. And, being me, I've never done classes before. So I do recall hearing about Robert doing classes, I believe, with a previous company, Tamco, or something like that, through Tamco or something. And so I told the guy to reach out to Robert, and he reached out to Robert. Robert reached back out to me, and he said, "What do you think if we do it in tandem, do it together?" And I said, "Look, man, if you feel like you're comfortable kind of driving the situation, I'm down to help in any way." So we did the first class in Tampa, which was outdoors in cahoots there with the tattoo convention. They just gave us the space. Basically, we kind of raised our own funds. We set up all our own stuff. We kind of were under the umbrella of the tattoo convention, but really weren't connected to them in that sense. But outdoors was a challenge. But it was really fun. In the end, we had some people progress pretty quickly. We definitely had some standout students. We had a lot of fun, and it felt like a little community, by the time we were done. And
how many people showed up for a class?
So I think the first time was like 8 or 10 or something like that. But it was a couple of people did the first one was 3 days. So we had some folks only make it 1 day. We had some folks make it all 3 days. We had some folks in and out. You know what I mean?
Right.
This second time around, I believe we got 16 people.
Wow.
Yeah. We were shooting for 25 was the available space. This time we were indoors. We kind of had climate controlled, a little bit more of an idea of what we wanted to do. Laminated practice sheets, the ones I created. Robert also created some. A little bit more organized, and clearly not fighting the elements, not fighting the heat, not trying to...
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
You didn't mention it. That one was in Houston?
Yes, this one was in Houston with Robert and Tammy over there.
Okay.
They are trying. I'm unsure. I can't really speak on it because I don't know. But I believe there's some sort of storefront that they're working with, and that was the space that we had outside or inside of an upholstery kind of custom shop. Again, I don't really know the ins and outs of that, but it was cool. It was a cool backdrop. We were around some nice cars. The people were really nice. They kind of just allowed us to use up the space there. And, we had the table set up. We were working with enamels. Folks left with paint, a couple of brushes, a Vondago brush, a Kafka brush, the brushes that we like to use, They left with a little paint kit, and they left with each one piece of art from Robert and I. With the exception of 3 folks, because I was unable to complete mine all there. I have 3 that I still got to mail out. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, man. A lot of this stuff's kind of like just go. And it's been fun. It's been a crazy year, but it's been a lot going on.
I feel like that's probably what's been going on with both of us. It's been crazy on this end, too. I know it's been kind of hard for us to get together on recording because of that.
Yeah. You just came back from a car show? Did you just do a car show?
I've just done a bunch. I just came back from Born Free Motorcycle Show, or Born Free Texas Motorcycle Show.
Okay.
The original one was in California. They still have it. It's huge. My understanding is they started this one here in Texas last year, which I attended then too. And the goal was to make it a little bit more centrally located in the country so that it's easier for people on the eastern side of the country to make it to it. I don't know numbers on how many bikes were there this year. It was pretty massive.
Nice.
And we were kind of like off over a back hill, so we didn't really see all the traffic that came through, but we were centrally located enough we were able to see like most of the I want to say events. I don't know, like the different things they had going on in it. Really, really cool. I got to see the Wheel of Death finally, or Wall of Death. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Wheel of Death. Or they have the motorcycles ride around on the wall.
Yeah, I saw you posted up a video of that.
Oh my gosh, that was, to me, the most exciting thing there. I really wanted to see it last year. I was stuck in the booth the whole time, didn't get to do it. This year, it was kind of being the same thing. I think it was the last night that we were there. We made friends with the guy and the people in the booth next to us. His name was Jack too. But him and I went and watched like this little concert they had in front of the Wall of Death. And when it was over, like crowds were all, moving towards the stairs and going up. I was like, man, I'm too far away. There's too many people. I'll never be able to make it up there. He's like, whatever, come on, let's go. So we went and ran and jumped past a whole bunch of people and got up there, and it was really, really, really exciting.
Nice. How do they even get started on that stuff? Like, this one of them.
Man, there's so they started off with like a guy in a go-kart, but there's like a little ramp ledge at the bottom until it gets to the, solid straight up and down wall. And he just took off up that, and he starts going at an angle and getting higher and higher and up and down. And later on, they had 2 guys going at the same time. And during part of that, one of them reached over, and while he's riding his bike, he's throttling the other bike so the other guy's hands free.
No way.
Which was insane. And then I guess in my eyes, probably the most senior guy or the main guy or whatnot went afterwards. And my mind was blown at one point when he's going around the wall, and then he goes and switches his legs up to where he's riding side saddle on the bike with no hands on the wall.
Damn.
My mind just couldn't comprehend what was going on there. And then after that, like, he's grabbing dollar bills from people and putting shirts in their hands and stuff. It was incredible.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a nice highlight for the trip, huh?
It was, but there was other cool stuff at that. They had in the motorcycle scene, like Harley's FXR, there was what was called the FXR Tour. All these people who built these custom bikes. toured them together for that. There was the chopper show part with some incredible chopper builds. I got lost in like looking at paint jobs, all sorts of stuff. There's just a lot going on. There's like concerts at different little stages all over the deal the whole time. That's the one we just got back from.
and where was that at again?
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere in East Texas, near Mount Pleasant, Texas.
Okay, so it was in Texas.
Yeah, they bought like a big RV park campgrounds thing that's out in the country.
Were you able to maintain and stay busy the whole time?
It was a little slower this year than it was last year. I think it just had to do with location for us, but I mean, we came out on top.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Yeah, and then the car show, I think you were mentioning, I did a really long trip and did Cruising the Coast in Mississippi, which is a week-long car show event, if people don't know. I don't even know if you'd really call it a car show. It's everybody cruising up and down the highway that's right on the beach in Mississippi for a whole week.
So cars generally aren't parked like.
There's spots where they park every day and like people check in and get a little ticket punched or whatnot. It's like kind of like a floating car show, I guess. Like there's Cruise Central, which everyone checks in at, but then each town basically on a different day has a little car show. And then there's other events going on too. Like there was, if I remember correctly, like nostalgia drags and stuff at one of the raceways. There's a big swap meet that goes on at the Coliseum, which I was there at that. There's block parties going on in places. It's packed.
And do you feel like that causes more of a challenge, or is it more beneficial for you as a person setting up to do pinstriping?
It's been a challenge. This is my third year trying it out.
Uh-huh.
I actually went and stayed with a friend of mine, John Lundstrom. He's a pinstriper down that way. Also like muralist, airbrush artist. He's hooked in with those folks.
Okay.
The folks that run it. And through him, we're making connections so that next year I can have a solid place to be that people will know where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So like this year, I rented a space in the Coliseum from the swap meet part, but there's only so many people that go through there and you can't get cars into stripe. So I was basically selling artwork and, t-shirts, prints, stuff like that. But I still striped quite a few cars while I was there. Next year, we're trying to set it up to where we'll be striping full time the whole time.
Nice. Yeah, because like when I just did the, I think my only car show this year was, I can't think of the name of it. I'd have to look it up. I
remember seeing it. It looked like it was mostly a truck show.
There's a lot of trucks, but custom cars. Oh my God, why can't I remember what it's called? But anyways, like all these vehicles are parked, right? So as soon as I started setting up, somebody was like, "Hey, you're going to do pinstriping here?" I said, "Yeah," and they're like, "Well, if you can come by and do my vehicle, whatever." But that was basically the case. Was I had to go to them because they were parked and they are not trying to lose their spot.
I feel like since I started doing car shows, I've seen a change. When I first started, it seemed like, and then there's still some shows like this, but to where I could get cars to pull up to me. Especially after COVID, it's become a deal to where it seems like they're packing the cars really close together. People don't want to lose their spot, and there's so much foot traffic now that you really can't move around. So you kind of have to go 2 cars. At least for me, that's what I find most of the time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm assuming that's the way it's going to be. That's going to be my mindset moving forward, is that I'm going to have to go to them.
There's a lot of car shows where you don't. It seems like some of the bigger ones. So like when I do Battle in Bama, it's big enough room. People can move around, drive to you. I know folks like Gooch and a couple other people that I know of that do shows and are kind of established with them. They've still got it set up to where cars are coming to them and people just kind of know that's how it is. But I think it's mostly for really big car shows.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being that there's more space, less they're able to move their vehicles around, right?
Yeah, I don't mind going two people. I know some people don't want to do that, but
Yeah, I mean that's just that. That's how it ended up with me. You know, I'd get started and somebody tapped me on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, can you come take a look over here?" And then I get started on that, and the next person again. It was Saturday was nonstop. It was a 2-day show, and then Sunday was
they're nothing at all.
what's that?
I said I find car shows are either like that where it's nonstop, or you're sitting around with nothing at all.
Well, it wasn't just me. There was also Mikey Aries was out there as well, and I saw him once when he got there, and then once when he left. And I'm assuming we were both either laying down, putting down stripes, or bent over something the entire time, or we just didn't see each other the entire time, and it was nonstop.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
I have a guy, my friend Brian. He works my booth so that like he sells merchandise out of the booth while I'm out striping. And most of the time we show up, we set up, we sit around and wait until the first job kicks off, and then we call it priming the pump.
Mm-hmm.
After you get the first job, it just rolls, and then we don't see each other until the end of the day.
Yeah. It's nice, man. It was real cool. That always
It's exciting.
It gets me amped up to do more. And I just looked it up. The place, the car show was called Slam Fest. But I could see two other pinstripers being there and still being just as busy. So
might have to make a trip next year.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I set up with my friend Lurch and my friend Rhiannon, which are both custom painters here. We had a little tent, and luckily they were there to watch my stuff because I was gone the entire time. Like I almost
I just said I've got to have someone at the booth, or I just it's not even worth having the booth there if I don't.
Yeah, I felt bad. But Lurch was like, "Hey, it's great," because he was like, "You were bringing in all the eyeballs to the tent." So I said, "Oh, okay, well."
Yeah. Well, I pay the person that watches my booth. So
Lurch got the spot, and I was gonna have to pay him back. Me and Rhiannon and him split the spot. Actually, me, him, and also Fortes is the shop I think he works out of, and so it was gonna get split 4 ways, but we worked out a deal. He sold a skateboard there. I pinstriped it, and that kind of threw some money towards him. And then
is that the flame one that I saw?
That was no, the flame one was the one. He was like, if you're okay with it, go ahead and pinstripe this one for me, and that could be the rest of the payment or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I went all out with it. I had a lot of fun with it.
That's always fun, man. I had one of those ideal customers at the show that I did this weekend, where return customer. Last year I did 2 bikes for him. This year she shows up, told me ahead of time, but first day, I've got a helmet, here it is. I'll come pick it up Sunday. Here's the colors I want. Have fun. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I think I saw it was like purple and teal.
Yeah. So it was, I think it's like branding colors for them and their business, but
okay.
Yeah, just got to let loose and make it whatever I wanted to make it. She was way happy with it too.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's always cool when people are super excited. I did this truck where they wanted me to letter Bad Apple on it, and me and lettering's like it's something you got to really practice a ton of. But I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit better at it, right? So right. I'm doing it. I'm kind of questioning my strokes. As usual, you start to kind of get a little self-conscious. And I was about 3/4 of the way done, and this fella's son was there before I got started. He knew what I was going to do, and then he got back and he was like, "Oh, that's awesome! It looks perfect." And I wasn't even done with it, and so I was like,
So, kind of a funny side note that reminded me of from this past weekend. I had a guy rolled up with a motorcycle, and he was asking me about doing some work. And he said, at Sturgis, I had somebody else do some work. And he pointed over to his bike. and I'm probably 15 feet away at least, and I see the lettering. I knew right off the bat, without him saying anything, I knew that it was Anthony. Is it Monaco?
Oh yeah, Anthony Monaco. He's got a real particular bounce that he does with his.
Yeah. I thought it was cool because I could just immediately know exactly whose it was from a distance, and I sent him a message, and I'm sure he was just blasting stuff out left and right. I thought it was cool to be able to recognize it that quick.
Oh yeah, he's got a style for sure, man.
Yeah.
He was for a long time. He was able to pinstripe almost all day, every day. He had a nice phone call job. So
yeah.
He was just sit in the garage and just piddle about, all day, every day, and he developed a pretty cool lettering style, which is nice to kind of have a real set style, especially one that looks cool. Like I think it looks cool what he does.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to guess, so man, it's still guesswork for me.
It's just hours behind the brush, like pinstriping. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with my script and my casual as far as like chicken scratch, writing them out, and then just going over it and kind of knowing how I like to make the letters.
Yeah, I gotta get some uppercase casual, but I gotta get some lowercase casual under my belt. I gotta find me a little printout or something to practice on.
Man, I think it's advice that I heard from other people, and I really think it's probably the most solid advice. And I've heard it from a lot of other people, and it's learn to draw them first.
Okay.
Practice drawing the letters.
Okay.
And like drawing the widths and everything too, right? But also when you're doing it, thinking of how the brush works, how you want your brush strokes and stuff to be. But
yeah, I've been trying. I have been trying that quite a bit at work with some highlighters and such that I got at work.
Right.
So every chance I get, I'll see a word and I'll be like, well, let me try this word. Especially with some letters that I still have a real hard time with, like lowercase p's. They get me. Honestly, what gets me is the portion of the letter that needs to go downward, right?
Okay.
So like a G, a P. At that point, you got to rethink, in my opinion, because I really don't know. But you got to rethink the height at that point of where you're going to put the word, right? Because there's going to be something hanging down from it.
Right. I draw a top and bottom line for where the tops of the letters will be and the bottom of the letters always.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
do.
It's more
I do too.
Mathematical.
Yeah, I do too. The top and bottom and the middle, right? And the middle line for the lowercase stuff. But
sometimes.
But then you got to consider the parts that are hanging down, right?
Right.
So you can't make it too far down because then you have nowhere to go. It'll be like a P with no legs, right? So that's.
Well, I think another really important thing that a lot of people overlook, and it's something I see a lot of old timers and stuff on the internet complain about, is people not leaving enough negative space around their words. Margins.
Yeah. Well, I could see
crowded
that. Yeah. I could see that for legibility, so people can read it, right?
Well, for part of it, and then too for it just not looking super cramped.
Yeah, and you know what? I like the cramped look, but
well, we had Bob Bohonik on.
Yeah,
and if you look at his stuff, he has huge margins. Like, he does not cramp the space at all. The letters could possibly be kind of tight sometimes, but there's enough room around them for them to stand out on their own.
Yeah. He's got a wonderful style, that guy.
Oh man. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Every time I see his stuff, I'm like, oh, it's freaking fantastic. It's so tasteful. Like, everything he does is so tasteful. But yeah, that's one thing that I'm still struggling on. But the dude was super happy, right? As soon as I did the Bad Apple, it was a 2-tone truck. So he wanted the letters in green. I did some green stripes, and underneath, even though I was on a kind of like a off-white portion of the truck, I still put a little bit of the regular white, kind of like teardrop shapes underneath it. So kind of the stripes had a two-tone situation going on. So it kind of mimicked the truck. But probably like, I don't know, probably one of the things I was most happiest with at the show.
That's cool.
Yeah, and sold some stuff. Man, I did good. I did really good that one day, and then Sunday was leftover like appointments from Saturday. It was definitely a lot slower. A lot of people had already been gone, and less of a crowd, less cars. But I was still busy until I was packing up. Everybody was packing up around me. I've been at some shows like 2 hours after it's over with, still striping cars. Yeah. I was at the very, very end. I was doing like a shifter knob for a fella. And
I had oh, go ahead.
So I try to ask the guy, I'm like, where is it? Do you know where it's going to land? Because he wanted me to put a design on it, but I'm thinking he's got to twist it on. So is it going to land correctly? I was like, I could put a starburst on there or something for you. He's like, nah, I want you to do something that I can't do. He's like, I could do a starburst. So I was like, all right, so I'll put a design, but I don't know if it's gonna aim away from you, catty corner, or what. So.
So like when it's twisted on with the top and bottom.
Yes,
gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess that's on
Might
him.
be best to do it on the car.
That probably wouldn't have been a bad idea, but that car was. Yeah, that car was wild. And apparently that shifter was really high up, like damn near up to the
ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, that car was one of the wildest cars out there, like green flames and patterns and orange, and it was pretty crazy.
I think one of my least favorite things to do is to stripe inside of vehicles at shows, and I seem to end up doing it a lot.
Yeah, because everybody like wants the glove boxes and such, right? And like the dashboard.
Dashboards are the ones that it's just so hot. I mean, here recently, anyhow, you're underneath the glass in the middle of the sun, baking, no wind, sweating all over their upholstery.
Yeah, and in a real awkward angle, because you can't really get above it the way you normally
sometimes
would.
with the glass like touching your brush while you're painting.
Yeah. I've only had to do a couple of dashes. I'm not a fan, but you know what, man? What I've been learning, for me at least, and I know it's a little bit of a different situation for you, is there's a lot of stuff I could just be like, I'm not comfortable doing it, or bring it to the house later.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. There was one dude.
Or sometimes I'll talk people out of stuff because I just don't think it's right for their car.
I was just about to say that. There was a guy, I just got done doing this woman's truck. She had pinstriping all over it, and she just wanted a little bit extra on the bumper. So I put a little extra on the bumper. And she's like, oh, hey, there's this guy over here, apparently some big name or whatever. I don't know hardly anybody, right? I'm still learning who is who.
His name's Freddie Villa.
I'm still learning who is who with these builds and all this. I'm still like, people are like, how do you not know who that is? I don't know who half these people are. But anyways, they're like, yeah, oh, hey, go talk to the homie. So I go down there, I talk to him, and he's like, yeah, I kind of don't know what I want, but he's standing in front of this beautiful truck that's very, very white, with real thick graphics on the side that go along, all like wraps around all along the side. The front's this beautiful pristine white, and the graphics are thick and blocky, but it's just tastefully done. It looks really good. And he's like on the fence. He's like, I'm not quite sure. I kind of think I want some pinstriping done here on the hood. I said, man, look, I'll be completely honest with you. What I do will not add to this vehicle. Like,
there you go.
Your graphics are so thick and like crisp and blocky that these thin pinstripes that I do it won't match. It's just not going to match. No matter what I do, it's not. And it was like a Ford, so it kind of had a newer Ford kind of has a particular bulbous look to it, right?
Right.
So there's no. I don't know. There was almost like no spot for me to add anything to it. So I just said, and he, he respectfully shook my hand. He's like, "Well, thank you very much." He's like, "I can respect that." So
Yeah.
So it was nice. Nice to not try to get pressured. Nice to understand that I can do that now. I think that's the growth that I'm starting to understand more for myself.
Something else. I had at a show here recently. Somebody came. It was actually a car show, but a guy brought me a motorcycle. Harley had a simple silver line on the bike, but they added a touring pack in the back. The big box that's up above the fender, and they wanted a line on it to match all the rest of the lines on the bike. And it was metallic silver. I didn't have my one-shot metallic silver with me, which I kind of hate using anyways, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, it's always translucent, kind of.
I don't always have that. It depends on. I think you have to mix it really, really well and keep mixing it all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll add a little bit of gray into the paint with it to help. But anyhow, I cleaned everything up. I taped it off. I thought I had the paint with me. I didn't have it with me. I got everything prepped. Had my tape, to give me a guide. And I'm looking through my box and I didn't have my silver. And Alicia, Cherry Bomb Pinstriping, she happened to be at the show. She said earlier that she had her box with her. I said, "Do you have any silver?" She's like, "Yeah, but it's really old." So she brings me this little bottle of silver, and I mixed it up as good as I could and started trying to palette it, and it just wouldn't palette in the brush. I've never had it act like that. It's just super gummy. And I had to tell the people, I'm like, I'm not going to put this on your bike. I can't trust it. I don't know that it's going to adhere, and I don't know what it's going to act like over time, because it's just, this bottle of paint is not working like it should be.
Yeah.
So I peel my tape off and, apologize to them for wasting their time and let them go. But it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta make the call, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there was a fella had me do his hood and his tailgate, and then he wanted me to do the tank, the air tank, because it had airbags on it.
Okay.
But, man, it's very centered, right? Like, it wasn't off to the side, so this was gonna for sure need a symmetrical design on it. And I thought right then and there, man, as fatigued as I was and all that, I said, "Look, man, I'm just not going to be able to do it." I'm not where it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
I knew I was going to have to be like all shriveled up to try to get in that little spot and all that. So, oh man, we're just going to have to either do that another time or, here's my card. So that's where I'm at with that.
Trying to remember what it was I was working on the other day, where I was so close to the ground and so far down, laying on my side striping and thinking, man, I kind of wish I hadn't have done this job.
Dude, that was the very first one that I got was a little mini truck like that. And he wanted something on the hood, and then he wanted something in the back. And I immediately think, all right, well, I'll just do the hood, and then I'll do the center of the tailgate. But he had his license plate in where the bumper is, off to the right hand side.
Right.
So I thought, man, I can't put anything at dead center when this thing is not centered at all. It's custom, right?
Right.
So I thought, well, I will just put something here in this around your tag over here in this corner. And yep, very first one, I'm laying on the ground like, oh, dummy. I mean, this thing was on the ground, dude. Like,
it's nice when they're on bags and they'll air them up for you. So
they did a little bit, but it didn't help much. It didn't, it did not help much at all. But they were happy with it. It was a fun thing that got the ball rolling. I think that was the very first one. I also did some flames on this custom bicycle for a fella. He showed me some flames that it's like a long train of flames, and I thought, yeah, I used to draw flames a lot when I was a kid. And, I can draw flames pretty good. And I thought, sure, bring it down. We'll work on it. But immediately started thinking, as soon as I got started on it, so, oh my God, this is a ton of work. So I overestimated and undercharged on that one, but I got through it.
It happens.
Yeah. Again, all learning, man. All these learning curves. It's good. It's good.
You were or before you, I think you mentioned, you said that was the only show you've done this year, or
I think.
or so, well, you did the roller derby thing.
Yeah, I've done some smaller ones. I don't know, dude. It's been a weird. It's been a weird.
I think it's funny because I counted it up this morning. I just finished show number 20 for the year.
Wow, dude.
I don't know if I'm going to do that many next year.
Yeah, that's a lot. Do you feel like it was a pretty good money wise though? You feel like it was pretty lucrative?
I feel my feeling for me and for my business and the way things are, going to shows is what keeps the shop busy. So I might be doing work there and making money there, but sometimes I don't make any money at some shows.
Yeah.
But it still comes back later. Like I look at it as being really, really good marketing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I get people that call me up from a show that I didn't do anything at, and they want like two. I'll bring them to the shop.
Yeah, it's good. I passed out tons of cards, man. Tons of cards.
Yeah, it keeps me busy. It keeps me busy outside of doing shows.
Which made me think of an idea for a T-shirt, because somebody was like, "You should get a T-shirt that says Pinstriper for rent," and like your phone number on your back. Which is it's a good idea, because everybody wants to talk to you. As soon as you get started, people want to talk to you.
Right.
Like, people want to. It's like, hey, I hate to bother you.
No, I've been wanting to make some new shirts for doing shows. It'll just be for me, and I was thinking about doing Pinstriper on duty.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one, and it's got the word duty in it, so that's good too.
Pinstriper on DOODIE.
Yeah. Anytime you could sprinkle in the word duty. But yeah, I'm for sure going to try to, again, like just for me, get something to where people could just, hell, maybe even a QR code or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Something simple for people to scan and because what I was doing while I was doing them is because people were like, hey, can you come take a look, or, do you have something ready? I lost one of those people. I said, yeah, I'll come next over to where you're at. And then all of a sudden they're gone and I don't know where they're at. You know
I've done that. I've come up with a system that helps me with that.
Let me tell you what I did, and then you tell me what your system was, right? So I told him the next person that I, wanted something while I was working. I said, all right, do me a favor. Shoot me a text right now that you want something done. And when you get a chance, shoot me a picture of your vehicle. That way I know what to look for. And when I call you, I can go and kind of put them in the queue via text,
That's exactly what I do.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it's funny how this stuff like works itself out. Like they're, both of us, same system, right? All of a sudden.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, look, I work first come, first serve on this. If you'll shoot me a text with a picture of your car.
Wow, same
as
thing.
Soon as I'm done with this one, I'll call you and find out where you are and meet you at your car.
See, and you got freaking hundreds of car shows. This is like my 12th car show, and I figured
because you're smarter than me. It took me way too many car shows to figure it out.
Yeah, as soon as I was like, oh man, as soon as I lost that second guy, I'm like, well, now what do I do? I had somebody else.
I still have like a lot of people. Oh yeah, I'll do that, and then they never text you. So it's like, whatever. That's on them.
Yeah, there are looky-loos, and there are people like. There was one dude at the very, very end of the show wanted me to do his motorcycle, and I don't know. I guess we couldn't quite get on the same page on what he wanted and what I was thinking, and it was like I was exhausted. And I gave him my card. At that point, I'm like, we're not far. He's like 20 minutes away. So I said, just bring it to the house, man. We'll work it out. We'll get it real buttoned up, real nice for you. But I've not heard from him since. But he was super gung-ho to get it done right then and there. But they were, we were about to be, the doors were about to shut on us on the last day in 30 minutes, And he wants me to do his entire motorcycle. It's like, man. So I have not heard from him yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
A lot of stuff like that I either have come to the shop or I'll sit there if I can.
Yeah, I've not had anybody come to the house yet, so we got a house that we're renting now from my brother.
Yeah.
I got a decent room in here, air conditioned, so if need be, I could pull a motorcycle in here. But I got the carport out front. The room leads to the carport, so I could just wheel my stuff right out there. I'm hoping to start practicing my long lines now that it's starting to cool down some. I want to get out there and really start hitting them long straights here pretty soon.
Man, I had a job yesterday.
I think I saw it.
It was one of my favorite things to do where long lines is concerned is, old pre-war cars, because there's always a body line that you're following, so it's really easy. But it was a Model A. I don't remember exactly what year. Restoration deal. He's making it totally original.
Yeah.
But it was great. Like, every now and then you have one of those jobs that just works out perfect. I showed up, told me exactly what he wanted. I did the fuel tank on it for him a while back, so we already had the color figured out. So I figured out how to make the color again, cleaned, prepped my surface, laid the tape out, as a guide. I guess people who might not know might be listening. I learned it from watching like Dwayne Conant is, putting the tape down and then painting to where you're just a few hairs away from the tape, eyeballing that to keep it straight.
Yeah, well, that's how most people do.
Yeah, I put that down and everything just worked out. The paint flowed like it should, and it was in and out and done, and it looked great.
Yeah, I saw it. Look fantastic.
It's nice when those happen. Sometimes you're fighting paint the whole way.
Oh man, yeah. There's some that they just come out of you, right? It's like all the practice and all the work and the materials are working, the car's working with you, the shapes are working with you, and your back's not hurting too bad.
The only thing that went wrong on it, I guess, is he didn't have the fenders on it, or not the fenders, the running boards. But the braces are still there for him. I walked right into one of them and cut my shin.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it happens.
A scrape, a little bump. I did a Carmen Gia for a fella, local fella that gave me quite a bit of work there for a while, and those are kind of a particular shape, but had some really nice spots for me to do, like the trunk and in the hood, and man, that thing come out so beautiful. I was so proud of that one. And
I did one not too long ago. There's spots on them that just lend themselves perfectly, like right above the little deal that holds the light for the license plate.
Yes,
or kind of anywhere around that or on it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I did. And I had done like his bus. He had like a Volkswagen bus, and that one, was kind of more tiki kind of themed. He had a bunch of tiki stuff and like the surfboards and all that. Kind of went more of a tiki-esque shape to the pinstripes, right? So when he brought the Carmen Gia out, he's like, this is a little bit of a different thing. So I kind of went with more curvy, more kind of rounded, to try to match the car, right? You try to match what you're working with. And
I've seen those. Is he just like a Volkswagen guy, or is he like got a shop or something that's all?
He does have a shop, but it's a general mechanics shop. He's an owner to a general mechanic shop. Huff Muffler. It's Cameron. Super nice.
Not Carmen.
No,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron, yeah.
Cameron, super cool guy. But no, he's into cars. And he had a decent amount of Volkswagens. I think he was going through like a Volkswagen phase. Now he's got himself a really nice kind of a Silverado, slammed on airbags and such. So I think he gets into certain things, and then he kind of gets bored with certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But super cool dude. I think he sold all of them Volkswagens that I did though. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't. He told me why. I just couldn't hear him. I was in the middle of doing something. He's like, "Yeah, I had to sell them stuff." But I.
So. Oh, go ahead.
I just didn't get the reason why. I couldn't hear him.
Speaking of Volkswagens, do you mind if I plug something?
Nah, dude, you can't plug nothing.
Oh, dang it.
All right, go ahead. Just this once.
No, I'm super excited about this. I did, and it was kind of an experiment. I'm going to do more of them, but like the art prints that I do where I draw.
Yes.
I've had a hard time forcing myself to draw every day.
Whoa. Nice.
Always trying to come up with new ways to make myself do it. But back at the beginning of October, I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get other people to give me ideas under a theme, and I'll put their ideas into the drawing. And I did it Volkswagen themed, mostly because I have a Volkswagen show coming up next weekend.
Yeah.
But, you know, every day I was like, okay, what's going to be the next car on this? And kind of whatever seemed to be the most popular out of that is what I would end up drawing the following day. And I think I ended up with, I think there's 7 vehicles in it, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
But I just got prints back the other day, just signed them yesterday, and hopefully we'll have them up on the website.
Well, what is the website there, Jack?
JackFlemingArtistry.com.
Fleming with one M.
With one M. But no, I'm really excited about that because it's a little bit different. You know, it's an art piece, but it's kind of led and guided by other people that are interested in it and follow the artwork kind of thing.
And that's
so it's fun.
And that's a smart idea, I think, you know, to try to get the community involved in your art, I think.
Yeah, it kind of gives, I don't know if I want to say like a randomness, but it's not so well thought on my end. I'm kind of going off of a direction that wasn't in my head.
Yeah. It forces you to flex that muscle, right? Like
it made it way more exciting.
Yeah, you get to be creative, but in an even more creative, like spontaneous situation.
I'm hoping to start the next one next week. It's all going to be like pre-World War II cars, hot rods. So
nice.
Exciting.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I got to learn how to draw one day.
Practice.
Well, you know, I'm easing into things, right? So I started easing into doing a little bit of leafing, and that's super fun, even though it's super messy, right? You got
a little bit.
You got to dust the stuff off, man. It goes everywhere. There was a while there that I was collecting it, you know, collecting. It just took so much damn time. I haven't done anything with them collections. So now I just, you know, in the middle of the night, because I'm usually doing this stuff at like 3:00 in the morning because I work nights. So my night off, I try to do some art. So it's funny. I'll walk out at freaking 3 a.m. and just dust off a bunch of variegated leaf off some panel that I'm working on or something. I'm trying to get it the shiniest possible because once you start learning leaf, then you start to obsess over trying to get the best shine, right?
Right, the brightest shine. Then you start to obsess over getting the prettiest spin, right? So it's like it's never ending, man, never ending. It's great. I want to learn water gilding on glass next.
That has not caught my attention. It's beautiful.
I'm so fascinated by it, but just don't have the time to do anything with it.
It's just not something that I have seen Joe Mahalik Jr. When we went up to Nauvoo. And forgive me if I said that wrong, Joe, but he's deep into that leaf, man, and he does some beautiful gilding on glass. And so he's very much into leafing. He's a good dude.
I have not watched it in person. I've just seen the results, you know, stuff that people have made, and then you know, stuff on the internet and whatnot.
Joe's one of those folks that takes his time, so it's very, very, very slow. So to watch him, you'd probably be there all day just watching him.
Probably could sit there and watch
it all day.
Get it
situated and all that. You know, he's kind of he's one of them fellas, kind of very meticulous, and it'll take him. I think it took him all 3 days to get one piece done, and unfortunately, it didn't go for too much at the auction. We were all kind of like a little disappointed in the crowd there. I guess maybe they don't understand what's gone into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're coming at it from a craftsperson, seeing how it's made and being enamored with that.
Yeah, and hoping it goes for a lot because we've seen how much work you put into it.
Right. They're probably just seeing another sign out of the 5,000 they saw on the way to the show.
Yeah, and just thinking, oh, it's gold. Speaking of shows, you got something coming up, right? You guys are starting to turn the wheels for the Great Texas Panel Jam.
Yeah, it's in February, but we're working right now on our artist list. I guess while I'm talking to you, you think you're going to be able to make it?
I'd have to check out the logistics of it. I do have possible work in February, so do me a favor and text me the dates. Or actually, what are the dates right now? Do you remember?
I'd have to look it up.
Is it? It's a weekend, right?
It is a weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. It's usually right around Valentine's weekend.
Okay, Valentine's weekend. Okay.
But I think we're trying to get our artist lists figured out before the 1st of December as far as people that we've already talked to in the past. And then we're generating, and if anybody listening to this is interested in being an artist for it, if there's spots open after the people that we have, I don't know if you want to call it like auditions or whatnot, but email us. And then I don't have the information up right now. It's on the Great Texas Panel Jam on Instagram. There's information about it, but it'll be emailing us. I think it's like 5 pieces of your work or something, just so we can see what the quality's like and picking who's going to help fill those slots.
Awesome.
Because we only have so many table spaces.
Yeah. And I think it's you got to corral everything. I know it's you and Cherry Bomb helps, right?
Yes, and Kate Cook, and then we've got a bunch of other people that are helping out too. I have a hard time remembering names, even when they're my good friends.
But it's all good. Yeah,
I forget your name sometimes.
Yeah, it happens, dude. Trust me. Yeah, it happens. Trust me, dude. But no, it's still like a grassroots, right? Kind of just this is the second year, kind of it being happening.
It's the second year with us running it, but it's piggybacking off of what was the Jim Crawford, was it Pinstripers Jamboree?
Mm-hmm.
Which, whenever the whole COVID thing happened, that kind of slowed down and all, and we kind of helped, I guess, kick it in the pants to get it going again.
Yeah. Well, I'd definitely like to come out and be a part of it. Like I said, I just got to check out dates. My boss, so I do sound work with a fella here in Clearwater, and he said that we have a week-long gig, I believe, with the Barth syndrome. There is some people, I think, from what I recall, there's some people that organize some sort of symposium for children that have like a disease called Barth, and we've done them a few years in the past. And I guess they're just now coming back to be able to do them because of COVID also. And I think there's a week-long thing where he's like, yeah, I'm going to need you in February. And I said, good, give me the dates. And he's like, I just told you it's in February. I'm like, dude, I can't just be like, hey, I can't do anything in February at all because Kendall might have work for me. I said, give me the dates, dude. Like, I need the
I'll
dates.
shoot you some dates today on this deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, like, real quick, super, I don't know if you want to say thanks or whatnot, the people that ran the panel jam before, I mean, we're literally standing on the shoulders of giants. They did an amazing job with stuff, getting things going to where, after COVID, when everyone was slowly rebuilding stuff, people from all over the place were asking about. People from all over the country were asking, where's the panel jam? When's it coming back? Big shout out to the people who ran it before. I think they definitely knew more about what they were doing than what we do.
Well, hey, it's you got to start somewhere, man. I think that's going to be another learning process for you, another way to get involved with the community. I think it's great. And you were saying you were going to do it, and you did it.
Yeah,
And
I
now,
think I do that too much.
yeah. Uh, well, we're doing it now, right? Like I said.
There you go.
Um, so what's next? What do you got going on? What's the next thing happening, upcoming for you?
And car show wise, I think I got 4 or 5 more car shows this year. Volkswagen show coming up this coming weekend. And actually, there's another show. There's 2 shows. So Saturday's a Volkswagen show. Sunday's really cool. There's the Alex Viola Memorial Car Show, which is a really, really cool deal. Helps benefit, what is it, like the families of fallen Green Beret.
Uh-huh.
But Artie Schilling, he's the one who kind of invited me to come be a part of that last year.
Nice.
He runs a little panel jam at that. Really small, 4 or 5 artists. But really, really cool event. Really top-notch event. Really neat cars and stuff. They do like an aerial flyover deal, and there's a field of flags, and there's a big ceremony where they like release doves, and it's a big and very respectful car show.
Well, that's great, man. That's great. Anything for the to help the veterans, man.
Yeah, that one I'm not working at. I'm coming in pinstriping, and there's an auction, kind of like all the other panel jam deals.
Yeah. I don't think I got a small car show coming up. I think it's cars and motorcycles. This a fella through a church event. I believe it's like a church event here in Plant City, but it's only from 10 to 2. It's in town, so it's not bad, but it's definitely not a lot of time, right? 10 to 2, and it's coming up here in November, so I'm trying to get some small things painted up. Hopefully sell some stuff, hopefully pass out some cards, maybe do some work. But that's what I
know something else that you have coming up.
What's that?
Didn't some really good-looking pinstriper get you to collaborate with them and another person on something?
That's right. Cherry Bomb. That's right. Cherry Bomb. Yeah. No.
What's that? What's that all about?
No, we got the 3. Okay, so we have 3 panels coming up. Each one of us, me, you, and Alicia, are each starting a panel. We're filming the process. We're not allowing each other to see this panel until the next person receives it. And this is a triangle situation, right? So when I finish mine, I'm going to record the process, but I'm not going to upload the video. And we're talking about YouTube. Once everybody receives the panels, then we can open them up, we can upload the videos, and we can then proceed to record the second portion, which is adding design to it, and then doing the same process one more time as it switches hands one more time. So we're going to have 3 pieces of art, 3 panels that have been pinstriped by me, by you, Jack, and by Alicia Cherry Bomb. And
all 3 artists on each one of the panels.
Yes, all 3 artists on each one of the panels. And I think it's, you know what? It was the panel that I got going on. I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. I think y'all are going to like it.
I'm starting to forget what mine looks like. It's been sitting for so long.
You knocked it out quick, man. You knocked it out quick. Mr.
I don't know about that. I put some time into it. It's just been a while back.
Mr. I'm busy. Mine's done. I just got to film the last bit of it to show it, the finished product. And then
I've got to edit.
Yeah, well, you got to edit. I hardly edit. Plus, I didn't really record too much of me doing it. I'm kind of just showing what I've done. I've been having, for one, I'm not been too happy with my camera quality on my phone. So it's been kind of, I don't know, putting a damper in the way I feel about my videos, right?
I totally understand.
And 2, been feeling, well, I don't know, a camera shy with the videos. Yeah, almost like I can't Like I'm having a hard time wanting to pinstripe, especially something where I'm trying to do something nice and video, because then I'm feeling like, oh, am I in the way? You know what I mean? I don't know. You got a pretty good situation. Like where you video from is pretty high up. It seems like you got a pretty good angle, where my stuff is all set up for when I'm just sitting down. It's like kind of over my shoulder. But
I've got a tripod, and then I've also got one of those arms that you turned me on to that attaches to the table.
Yeah.
I'm trying to switch and have different angles rather than just one.
But you're also full-blown editing and creating like these short films where
I realized something the other day, and then it's kind of along the same thing, but like, I guess for a long time when it comes to like pinstriping or art and stuff, people are like, oh, that's cool that, you know, you've got such a great hobby. And to me, that's never been a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do for a living, or it's my life.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that I think making little videos is my hobby.
Okay. Yeah,
I've got a hobby now.
yeah. You enjoy the videography of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting paid for it or anything, so it's definitely not a profession. I'm just enjoying doing it and trying to figure out how to get better at it and make better stuff. But like you were saying, I think I'm to a point to where I want to stop just using my phone and maybe get something that's a dedicated camera, especially with like some sort of better microphone situation.
Yeah, the mics are always kind of hard because you get the echo.
Well, I'm in this giant space. We're a 40 by 40 shop, and if the camera's farther away, the sound sounds totally different than when I'm up close to it. So
yeah, and that is something that, for me, as a person that works with sound, it can take me out of a video. It can take me out of the moment. When
I'd like it to at least be consistent, even if it's not high quality. At least
I'm with you, and I agree with you on that, because if I'm watching a video and you know the person's like, "Hey, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen," then all of a sudden they're like, "And now, what we're going to be doing is," it's like it just completely takes me out of the situation.
I feel like Monty Python used to do that, but they actually used it as part of the gag.
Well, there's definitely correct ways of doing all that stuff. But yeah, maybe you can get yourself like a lavalier. Heck, I've even seen people just do the Bluetooth thing, right? So, put the Bluetooth in your ear and work it out.
Well, even like one of those little clip-on microphones or something, so it's just always the same distance from your voice would be probably better.
Honestly, even better, if you can find one, would be a head mic, one that goes around your ear and it's got it's almost like the
look like those people on the old infomercials for like AT&T.
Yeah. Well, those
the ShamWow guy.
Yeah, the ShamWow. Yeah, exactly. Well, those are good because it does keep the same proximity. The thing is with the shirt stuff is it inevitably it will rub, and it'll sound like it'll sound like winds blowing through it. So that's the problem with they call them lavalier mics, the ones that it's better. It's way better if you got one that's just wrapped around your ear, and it's right there by your mouth.
Right.
It never changes. But then you would look like a pop star, which can't be bad.
You already look like a pop star, Freddie. Long flowing hair now and all.
Maybe in Menudo, maybe like 45-year-old Menudo. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to get that panel shipped out. I got this PlayStation that I did for my cousin like 4 months ago that I haven't shipped out.
I remember you showing me pictures of that too.
Man, it's just my mother got knee surgery, so I had to tend to her for a while. I got into an accident that caused me some friction, day-to-day friction. The transmission crapped out on the car before that. The transmission crapped out on my lady's car after that. It was just like back to back to back to back to back.
Do you have your car situation taken care of now?
Yes. I had to, so they totaled the car. They gave me back a totaled title in their name, in the insurance company's name.
Okay.
And then I had to take it to my county and have it inspected to be able to put it back in my name. And I almost didn't pass the inspection.
So you're fixing it back up?
No, it's done. It's back on the road.
Oh, okay.
It's back on the road. I just, I looked, I did a lot of research, right? So I know that they needed all the parts to be, have a receipt for all the parts. All the parts had to be in the mechanic's name that did the work. I had to have a receipt from the mechanic. The seatbelt light can't be malfunctioning. So the airbag light, right? So I found a pass. I found a way to fake it. And I'm not going to tell people how to fake it because that might be illegal.
I would say, as you put this out on the podcast, how to break the law.
It involves a resistor. It involves a resistor. That's all I'll say. Anyways, but I get there, right? And, I wait in line and it's like, it's a whole slew of fellas and like one lady. And, the fellas all seem to be like, oh, whatever. They don't seem much care. And then the lady's like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? So she comes out of the car and she is very stern. She's like, well, sir, I need this, I need that. And I said, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, whatever you need, baby-faced it, just like as compliant as humanly possible. And she starts wiggling the bumper and she's like, I don't think you have a bumper. And I said, ma'am, I think there is a bumper there. I'm fairly certain he replaced the bumper. She's like, well, let me get down there. And she gets out this dusty old creeper. Like nobody's used this creeper since 1972. This thing, she gets under and she could barely get underneath the car. She's having a hard time. Her knees are popping. She's like, yeah, there's a bumper down there, but this is a little too wiggly. This is a little too, So she was like, this is going to be a fail. And I said, okay. I said, I understand, ma'am, and if you could just let me know what it is I need to do to get it fixed. That way I can come back and have a pass. Then I proceeded to have the most pitiful look on my face and the most defeated possible look that I could ever have and just sit there and almost look like I was going to cry, right?
Puppy dog eyes.
Yeah. Oh, man, I laid it on thick, boy. I was like, like, what am I going to do? I can't get to work. And I was conveying this through just emotion, right? I was throwing this out.
My wife's pregnant. I won't be able to get her to the doctor.
Listen, I was doing just like I was hanging low, man, whatever I had to do. So she's like, well, let me go talk to my superior. And in my mind, I'm thinking the conversation was probably like, hey, is the bumper on there? She's probably like, yeah, the bumper's on there. Was, is the guy nice to you at least? She's like, yeah, probably. He's a good dude, This is in my mind, right? Because I just yes ma'amed her to death. And she comes back. She's like, well, look, because you've been so nice and compliant, we're going to let you pass. But you need to go get this. And I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will go directly the moment I leave here and I will go get everything fixed. And sure enough, I got the pass and back on the road. And I've done nothing to the car. So.
Now you got to lower it so that people can't look under it for inspections.
That's the only inspection that's ever going to go through. That it's a totaled car. Heck, I paid $3,000 for it. They gave me $5,000 for the total.
Wow.
Yeah, I left with got a little bit of money out of it. Helped to fix a couple other issues.
$2,000 for lowering it, man.
Yeah.
All about lowering everything.
Listen, I would love to have a custom car, but I also like, going over speed bumps.
It's overrated.
Yeah, I guess. I don't want to, yeah. I've been there. I've been you got to do that one wheel over it, then the next wheel over it.
Go open up the trunk and break out the pieces of wood to make staggered steps up over it.
Oh, really?
Sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, I would like a nice, cool car, but for now, I'm just trying to keep it, just day to day. For my first car was a Chevelle, a 4-door lowrider. We lowered it, lowrider kind of Chevelle, flat black, all drum brakes. It did have power steering, luckily, but no air conditioning. And I drove that thing probably for the first 5 years of my adulthood. And once I got air conditioning, I never looked back, dude. I never looked back.
I'm hoping to have air conditioning in one of my cars soon.
Woo, you ain't got air conditioning?
No, man.
Wow, dude, you're living rough. You're living rough.
I got wind flaps on the van, though, so it's almost like air conditioning.
No, that's nothing like air conditioning at all. Wind flaps.
Don't spoil my dream.
Yeah, he said I got wind flaps, dude. This ain't 1955, dude.
It can be.
Get you some AC, man. You'll never look back.
Eventually.
Buy yourself a nice Buick LeSabre, buddy, and join the dark side.
I want a Buick, but it's not a LeSabre.
I say that because that's how it started with me. I got a Buick LeSabre. I was like, oh man, this thing is plush. Oh my God. It's fantastic. Like motorized seats and shit, motorized windows. Oh my God.
I want like a 59 Invicta.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It's a little different.
Yeah. If I get a classic, it's going to be a truck. So I'm looking at getting a truck at some point.
I had a question that I think would be good for this.
Go ahead.
Do you have any new pinstriping tools or stuff that you've picked up recently that you're liking? Or
trying to think. I got a set of them Hanukkah quills.
Yeah,
I like those. I
have not tried them.
Yeah, I got a set of those. This is not new, but there was somebody that I followed on Instagram. I follow people back when they give me a follow, especially if they do art, right?
Right.
So some lady like drew flowers or painted flowers, and one day she was like, "Oh, I'm selling all of my lettering and pinstriping supplies for $100, and it was like 30 cans of leaded one shot." And
oh wow,
yeah.
Oh, I saw your picture of those.
Yeah, and a bunch of lettering quills and a few pinstriping brushes and this and that. I mean, the pinstriping stuff really didn't catch my eye. It was more the quills and the cans of paint. So I have busted out a couple of them, notably some brown. I had to do some brown on a truck, and it was amazing how creamy and still good that stuff is, man. It's like it had never been opened.
That's what I hear. I've never got my hands on any.
Really?
Oh.
Well, what I'll do is I'll send you a picture of the ones I got.
I could look at it and drool.
No, man, if you want, I got some black. I got like 3 things of black. I'll send you some.
I wouldn't mind trying some just to see the difference.
Yeah, maybe I'm still too novice. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like you got to reduce it anyways. But I haven't felt too much of a difference. But I've only really dealt with those 2 colors. At some point, I found some lavender, violet. I think it's violet. Leaded one shot, and I can't feel too much of a difference, to be honest. But yeah, I'll try to get you some.
Does it taste better?
No, it all tastes like the reducer to me. I do got some Ronin I haven't busted out yet. Somebody actually sent me some Ronin. Person that took the class, person that follows the YouTube channel of Chris Garcia, sent me 2, 4, 6, 8 cans of Ronin, and I'm waiting until I need the color to bust them open. I don't want to just bust them open willy-nilly. So
right.
I think that, yeah, I want to feel it real bad and see what it feels like, but I'm kind of trying.
I feel that it feels different than the one shot to me. I've been using it for a little while. I use both. I'll tell you what I did get that I'm excited about, and I've only used it once 2 days ago. I finally pulled the trigger and bought some hot hues.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How many cans?
They have like a starter kit that comes with like the basic primary colors, black and white, and then I bought on top of it because I needed it for a job, the metallic silver, and then I went ahead and got the metallic gold.
How do you feel about it?
So I think I've got 7 cans of paint. Man, I've only used that metallic silver so far, and I mixed it with some black to get the color that I needed with it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I hear their metallics are quite good.
It was way easier to mix than the one-shot metallics, because like one-shot metallics, you've always got the big thick, chunky
at the bottom
to it. There's none of that with this. I mean, it's a urethane, and mixing it with activator and all of that. So it's quicker.
Hold on. The activator. These are the things that I don't know about. About urethane, right? Well, I don't know about paint. Yes. I don't know shit about paint. I've never claimed to know things I don't know. So I don't know a lot about paint. What is activator?
I'm not a chemist.
Okay. But is it basically like a hardener? Is it hard?
Basically, so my understanding with the urethanes, they're not really going to harden up and dry without activator. It's a 2-part paint, right?
Okay.
Kind of like an epoxy.
Oh, okay.
In a sense.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a retarder, right? You can add. You have to add the activator, and
there's activator on this, and then there's reducer.
But isn't there also a retarder? I thought I heard that there was also like something that slows down the process.
I think I don't know enough about it, man. I don't want to say something I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know there's some other chemicals and stuff with like the House of Colors one, because I was looking at those for a while.
That's the one I tried when I went up to. Well, you tried it too, I think, when we were.
Yeah, I tried it too.
Yeah, when we were up at Steve's, Chiseka.
But I've heard so much about the hot hues from like Dwayne, and then we got to be friends with Paul Quinn, and he's I guess the one who introduced it to Dwayne, and maybe even Steve.
I'll be honest. I've only ever heard good things about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm really liking it.
That's what's up. One of the things that I did find that I had never really done, that's new for me too, is I got a hold of some. So when I went to go to Tennessee, I went to Kentucky for work, and I went and visited Tracy McKenzie.
Right.
I went and hung out at his shop, and I was asking him, what does he do to clean surfaces? You just pick people's brains, right? And he says, I believe, and I may be wrong, but I believe he says he uses a water-based cleaner, and then a wax and grease remover, and then back to a water-based cleaner. I think that was like his steps.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yes, and I may be wrong, right? And I don't mean to quote him on that, but I had never really purchased any wax and grease remover. I kind of always just went with the water-based glass cleaner, right? And if need be, rubbing alcohol or
right,
or heck, for a while there, I was even using mineral spirits. But I see the negativity in using that because it's got a little oil, right?
I feel like it leaves a little film,
a little oily. Speaking of, I've switched over to naphtha for reducing my enamels. So that's another thing that I started doing. I do feel it cut better. I do feel it reduce better.
I haven't tried it.
I'm off the mineral spirits.
You're off the mineral spirits.
I'm off the mineral spirits. Yeah.
He's hooked on harder stuff.
Yeah, I'm moving forward, man. I'll be on crack is coming up.
Oh,
no, but I did that step. I did the glass cleaner when I did the ladies bumper. Well, really, all the stuff I did, I did that same step. I did glass cleaner, then I did the wax and grease remover, then back to glass cleaner. I don't think I've ever felt a cleaner surface. So,
sometimes I'll do glass cleaner. I like the spray away.
That's what I got, spray away, because somebody explained to me that the pneumonia or the ammonia in the Windex is not good.
I don't know.
That's what somebody told me. So.
But I'll do the glass cleaner, and then I get a wax and grease remover from my local automotive paint supplier.
That's what he told me to do, but I got a little trigger happy on some stuff I found online, which was actually custom shop. brand.
Okay. Man, I'll tell you one thing. If you're not doing it, I always test that stuff somewhere inconspicuous on the car.
Yeah,
Because some paints, it'll fog it.
Okay.
Or even if somebody's got like, I don't know, some rattle can paint job on their car, it might even lift it.
Yeah, if I'm concerned, I'll just do spray away, or you know what I mean.
But yeah, I'll do the spray away. Yeah, if it's something I'm concerned about. But usually, if it's a really good durable paint job, I've got spray away. I'll do the wax and grease remover, and then sometimes after I do the wax and grease remover, I'll come and use denatured alcohol.
Yeah.
Before I come back with the spray away again.
I think for a while there, I was trying denatured alcohol. I don't know why I got away from it. I do know that I had a moment once where this fella wanted me to pinstripe like a hood scoop that he had just put on his truck. And I think I used some denatured alcohol on it, and I think it was starting to eat into the paint.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Always test.
And I did explain to him what was happening, and I was like, man, I don't know why. And I said, when did you put this thing on? He's like, oh, I just had it painted on the truck like 2 days ago. Yeah, he had just had it painted. He moves that fast. Very, very nice guy, veteran. Has a little bit of PTSD and such, so he's kind of
pushing the paint past its limits there.
Yes, yeah, and he does not like to wait. Boy, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, Fred, I need you to come now, man. I need you to come now. I need you to get this done now." He's very nice.
Sometimes impatience kicks us in the butt.
Man, that guy, I like him. His name is John. He tells you some stories. Boy, he's got some pretty wicked stories. But yeah, you should try the naphtha. I think you would like it. I think it feels like it's somewhere in between mineral spirits and lacquer thinner. It feels like
to research it a little bit.
It feels like it's in the realm of in between. I mean, it even says there it's meant to reduce enamels. So
right,
and it's made to reduce enamel paint. Thins, enamels, and varnish. I
will look into it.
Yeah, check it out, man.
I know some of them I can't use. What are they called? Turpentines.
That shit stinks.
Yeah, well, it triggers my migraines, which are basically like seizures. So I have to avoid it. And I know it's good for certain stuff. And I like the results of it, but I can't use it.
Yeah, I hear that's. I think Hot Rod Jen said that's what she uses exclusively to reduce, if she needs to, reduce the gold leaf size.
Okay.
I think again, I'm working off of memory here, because most people don't reduce their gold leaf size, right? But
I don't.
Yes, but I guess there is moments where sometimes. Maybe it does need to be reduced, and I think turpentine was the one.
I know she does a lot more of it than I do.
Yeah, she does. She does do a lot of work, man. She's nonstop. But yeah, that's about it, man. You got anything? You got anything else you want to touch on?
I can't think of anything.
Before we bore these people to death,
we probably already have.
We've lost a few along the way, probably. I
will say this.
Go ahead.
And I really want to make sure that we point it out. I am so thankful to all the people that reach out to us, tell us how much they like the podcast and give feedback. I mean, I get people all the time suggesting stuff. Even when we haven't recorded in a while, there's still people like, oh, I just discovered it. And I'm like listening to all of them. I'm 4 or 5 in, and it's really cool. It's encouraging. And I'm glad that it seems to benefit people.
Yeah, I am in agreement, and I'm very thankful for everybody as well. I also get feedback probably weekly, right? Maybe like once a week. I'll get I know we're on Spotify. We're on a few of the streaming networks. I'm starting to migrate these onto YouTube. So. And I found the easiest way was to just put them on my channel. because to start a whole new one and all that. But
I think I tried to at one point, but I don't know what happened.
It's so much to start a whole, and plus my thought process is right. I already got 13,000 subscribers. It already kind of puts us in the place for folks to go ahead and find it. It's a little bit more
famous Freddie and his 13,000
I figure it's easier for people to find, right? If they already got 13,000 folks that are watching pinstriping related items, why not just throw it on there?
He was giving you a hard time there.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've heard it a lot throughout the years. It always, it's always like it always stings a little when you see the people say, "Hey, stay off YouTube. Just make sure you don't go on YouTube. Whatever you do, don't go on YouTube. YouTube." But I think there's a lot of good information on there. You'd be surprised.
I think there is, and I think
there's also
there's
also bad information for sure.
Right. With anything, you need to not go into things blindly following stuff. Look at stuff, test things out, and make some decisions on your own.
Yeah. I think the biggest red flag is to see, this is my opinion, to have folks that are dead set, this is the way it needs to happen.
Right.
I think that's a big red flag that people need to look out for, because
I think your YouTube channel seems to be really good and geared towards, trying stuff out, learning things, learn along with me kind of deal. I know that on mine, I probably try to teach a little bit, but it's just because it's my personality. I don't necessarily look at it as being like an educational thing, even though it's there. It's more like show and tell.
Yeah, but you come from an education background. So
right.
It's in you to educate, and you have the credentials to back it up, right?
I guess.
Well, I think
I paid for a piece of paper.
Yeah, but you've also taught. You've also been a teacher, so you have not only the credentials but the experience, and the hands-on experience of doing art your entire life, right? But yeah, I always try to tell people, hey, keep an open mind. This is my opinion. This might be wrong. Try things out. It's still like my main response to almost everything. It's like, practice, just do it.
Yep. We're all learning. We're all trying new stuff out all the time, and if we're not, then we need to be.
Yeah, I still got to practice. There's still a lot I got to learn.
Yep.
And with that, I think we'll call it a day, man.
Sounds good, man. Let's not wait too much longer before we get somebody else on here to interview.
Yeah, we'll get somebody on. Let's aim for next week. How do you feel about next week? All right.
I feel good about it. Right. Let's text some names back and forth later. But
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you all so much for listening. We're going to sign off now, and thank you all so much. And try to refer a friend. Try to share these podcasts if you can, and we appreciate you very much.
Yeah. Go paint something.
Yeah. Go paint. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.